You know, sometimes when you meet someone romantically, there's a few things you catch about them where you realize that y'all won't fit in a relationship. It could be their lifestyle, their habits, or anything you can't imagine yourself being compatible with. This happens so much where there's been millions of videos that talk about red flags in relationships. So I thought it would be an interesting idea to bundle that up and put it into a tier list. Setting the stage, first we have not a red flag, which are perfectly normal things people overreact to. Beige flag, could be an issue or not depending on the situation. Red flag, there was a problem here. Maroon flag, you seriously need to rethink this relationship. And lastly, run. This is the deal breaker category, run and don't look back. This is gonna be a gender neutral tier list, so this applies to girls and guys. Also, I'm not an angel either, I may fall into some of these red flags myself, but with that being said, let's start off with victim mentality. These are the people who are always unlucky in life. The world is against them and somehow everyone did them dirty. In the beginning, you might actually feel bad for the person, like they went through a lot of trauma, but then you start noticing a pattern. Every ex was toxic, every friendship that fell apart, they got betrayed, every argument, every situation. Somehow, they were the ones who got hurt. I don't even think these people even know that they're constantly playing the victim. They're so trapped in their own perspective that they can't see how they were part of the problem. And in a relationship, it's pretty much essential to be communicating and understanding your partner. But you can't do that when you're hyper-focused on who wronged you. There are two sides to every story, and until that person is aware enough to take accountability for their own faults, this personality trait is a red flag. And it goes perfectly along with the next one, the ex-hater. You ask them what happened in their past relationships, and apparently they were dating variations of Satan. Every one of them was either crazy, toxic, or manipulative. So either one, they're the actual problem, or two, they have a type to be with bad partners, which again, they are the problem. If every single person they dated was the worst human alive, the odds are they may not be as innocent as you think. Whenever a chance to talk badly about their ex is brought up, it's like a machine starts churning in their head, and they're able to bring up a log from 5 years ago about every single bad thing their ex did to them. And I understand there's a bunch of pain and suffering you go through with breakups, but there's a huge difference between talking about your past in a reflective way versus your ex being a whole supervillain. To be fair, there are some genuine terrible exes out there, but if they keep getting reminded of their ex while seeing you, it's probably a sign that they got some unresolved trauma going on. I wouldn't blame the person for what they went through, but healing is still their responsibility. If they don't take the time to process it and grow from it, the unresolved trauma doesn't disappear and it gets dumped onto the next relationship. No matter how much a person says they are over their ex, the way they talk about them really reveals if they're ready to date someone new or not. And getting into a relationship with someone who isn't at a full emotional capacity because they're dealing with their baggage from the past is just not a good idea. Chances are things aren't going to work out and you're going to go down as another one of their toxic exes. Maroon flag. Next we have is opposite gender friends. This means if you're a guy, you have friends that are girls, and if you're a girl, you have friends that are guys. And unless you're an anti-social Discord mod, you will be acquainted with people that are the opposite sex. It's going to be your classmates in school, coworkers at work, even friends of other friends. Our society doesn't segregate genders, and you're gonna make connections with both guys and girls. That's just the reality. And I know relationships need boundaries, but having it to where you can't even befriend normal people is a bit too much. You can be jealous, but also have a little bit trust in your partner, you know? It's not like your boyfriend or girlfriend is gonna wanna sleep with every person they interact with. And if that is the case, then break up with them. Otherwise, getting upset at a random stranger of the opposite sex asking you for directions is kinda crazy. As long as you don't have a disproportionate amount of opposite gender friends, this is not a red flag. With that being said, let's talk about the guy or girl best friend. And scratch everything I said earlier. Because when I talked about boundaries, these are the friends that are a little too close for comfort. Cause babe, who's that guy cuddling with you on the side of your bed? Oh, your guy best friend? Okay. Speaking as a guy here, it's gotta rub you the wrong way when everyone from the outside thinks that the guy best friend and your girlfriend are dating. Meanwhile, you're the dang boyfriend. It only gets worse when you end up meeting him in person and it feels like you're the third wheel. I just know 99% of these guy best friends are waiting in line to strike at the right opportunity. Whenever you have an argument in the relationship and they rant to their guy best friend about it, I know he's laughing on the inside.
I just cannot stand this guy. We have to find someone better for you. Like someone that understands you. Someone that knows you. Someone that's been there through your ups and downs.
I'm not saying that all guys are like this, but come on, bro. The chances are possible, but it's not probable. And am I willing to take that risk? Hell no! No! The only possible way is if your guy best friend is gay, and I'm gonna have to double, triple, quadruple check that. It's a boundary thing. You can trust your partner all you want. It's normal to feel uneasy about how close that guy or girl best friend is. I mean, every time I got in a relationship, I distanced myself from my closest friend that's a girl. And I think that should be the standard. Like when you're in a relationship, there's just certain things that you shouldn't be doing. And if your partner isn't willing to establish boundaries or at least distance themselves from that bestie, run. Next we have is the party goers. If you're out on a date and they mention their hobby is going out to parties, you might trigger a flight or flight response. Partying is something that's very looked down upon. I've had a negative perception about parties even before I went to one, so I was making a judgment from the outside looking in. But now that I've actually gone to a couple parties, I can double down on this and say that parties are a red flag. I get the appeal, you want to go out with your friends and have fun, but that environment invites degeneracy. The moment you walk into a party, music is blowing out your eardrums. The people there, all intoxicated. Then you get thrown into a pit of sweaty people rubbing up against you, random strangers throwing ass at each other. Some guy mistakes you for a girl and tries to make out with you. Clubbing is very much an activity for singles. I'm pretty sure most people there are single too. But even if nothing happens in these parties, it's just not an environment you want your partner to be around. The same thing applies here where I feel like there's certain things you shouldn't be doing when you're in a relationship. I mean, look at this photo of me at a Halloween party. I can guarantee y'all that nothing happened, but this is not a good look. Going to parties with my boys is cool and all, but I'd much rather bake cookies with a girlfriend or something. Now with that being said, I still think it's fine if you're only partying occasionally and you're communicating and reassuring your partner, but if you're going to the club every single weekend, that's a red flag. Next on the list is the mama's boy or mama's girl. And I'm all for having a healthy, good relationship with your parents, but you also need to have individuality when it comes to your romantic relationships and your family relationships. Because if their parents' opinion on you affects how your partner views you, it gets messy. The mom and dad should not have such a strong hold on the relationship. Like if you guys are perfectly happy together and the mom just doesn't like you, and your partner takes their mom's side, you're in a losing game. Unless you're willing to get validation from both the partner and their parents, it's a 2v1. And that's going to be really hard if their parents have a traditional mindset. Overall, it really depends on the family dynamic and the power the parents hold on them. For now, it's a beige flag. The incel or femcel. These are the type of people who hate on the other gender either from their past experiences or propaganda on the internet. I thought these groups would be chronically single, but surprisingly, a lot of them are in relationships. Like dudes will literally be with a girl who rants about I hate men, and girls will be in relationships where guys are talking about some women belong in the kitchen. Like what the fuck? Have some self-respect. I just can't imagine being happy in a relationship where you're treated and talked down upon as a lesser being. I thought the whole point of relationships is to love each other, but instead you're having an internal war because of your genitals. The scary part about this too is that there will be these types of incels or femcels actively roaming around the dating market. I don't know why you would want to be in a relationship with someone you fundamentally hate, but it's best to steer away from these people. In 2025, I think it's almost certain that people will be biased based on their gender. It makes sense since you relate more to the people that have the same experiences. Like no matter how much you describe it, a guy isn't gonna know what a period really feels like, and a girl isn't gonna ever know what a period feels like either. But if you sense that you're a punching bag and being targeted solely based on your gender, run. Anyway, this video was made because you guys enjoyed my last video talking about relationships. I have to cut this one short though since it's getting a little long, but if this video does well, I'll make a part 2, so like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.